welcome back to the Fox Robbins Business Show. Great to have you back again. And the Fox Robbins Business Show is all about developing your best business ideas. And this is part 2 of Bob Nelson with the SBA. We just did part 1 with a lot of good information, but we didn't get everything said that we need to cover. So we're having part 2. So we're back. And we'll be with Bob Nelson in a second. I'm the co-host, Bill Fox, but the other co-host is, get this, we've got a guy who is electrified, he's compelling, and he's radiant, and it's Coach Robbins.
Mr. Bill, I understood those 3 words too. Usually throws in a word. I haven't got a clue what he's talking about.
And as we said, we have, we're lucky enough, things worked out for us. We've got Bob Nelson, that is Robert H. Nelson, SBA Massachusetts District Director, and Bob Nelson to you. And he's been really helpful and filling in a lot of the blanks on SBA that we need to cover with you on this show. And Bob, great to have you back for part 2.
You got it, guys. Good to be with you.
And we're going to skip, we did about the SBA, we talked about many of the now successful businesses that started as nothing and got help, from the SBA, back at the beginning. And those of you watching the show need to take that to heart. And Bob, we want to skip on through to the SBA director, who is Linda McMahon.
Yeah, so again, I think this is really important that we have Linda McMahon as the 25th administrator of the SBA. For those of you who might not know the name, Linda McMahon is married to Vince McMahon. They are the co-founders of WWE, so World Wrestling Entertainment. So this is a small business owner who is leading the SBA, which I think is really important. And Linda McMahon does serve on the president's cabinet. Mm-hmm. So, and again, I think that's really important that SBA is part of the cabinet, so that she can talk about the needs of small business. And everyone is working really hard right now with SBA's plan for what we're going to be doing with the new administration. But if I could, I just wanted to share quickly, Linda McMahon's story. And I've had the opportunity to meet her a couple of times, heard her speak, and even got a couple personal phone calls from her on my cell phone, which were surprising. Yeah. When she speaks, she talks about the early days when they were just getting, their business off the ground. And she talks about having a personal foreclosure on her residence, a car repossessed out of her driveway, having to make difficult decisions on, could they afford that month to make a $12 lease payment on a typewriter. Right. And so she gets it. She knows how hard it is to run a small business, but they stuck with it. And she's really an expert when it comes to branding. And so this is the leader of the SBA, and so I thought it important to talk about this because this is where she's going to be taking us going forward with SBA Reimagined, the SBA brand, making it stronger, making us better with our core mission of helping small businesses with access to capital, counseling, and government contracting assistance, but also trying to help eliminate some of the regulations that can adversely impact small businesses and make things difficult. So
I was thrilled to death to see when she became the national director because, as I always like to say, Ms. McMahon and Mr. McMahon, they have the scars. Right. They've been there, they've done it, they've pursued and persevered, which is one of the more important things we talk about all the time. And my goodness, did they create a powerful brand identity?
Absolutely. So they have 800 employees, around the globe. Yep. It is the brand is so recognized. And so, and that again didn't happen overnight. That was hard work and staying at it, and
24/7.
Yeah.
And having the faith to continue on the road.
Yeah.
Tremendous success story.
Bob, I want you to, we have something called the SBA Toolbox, and we want you to address that, the 3 C's, counseling, capital, contracting. Can you talk to us about those, the 3 C's?
Sure. So, the SBA, we like to say that we're involved with 3 C's, helping small businesses to access capital, helping them with counseling and technical assistance, but also helping them to explore government contracting. And, on the capital side, again, we don't make the loans directly. We provide a guarantee to help the bank get to the yes decision. Our guarantee is typically 50% on our express product on loans up to $350,000. We go all the way up to $5 million. There's no downward size limit.
Right.
We see a lot of loans in the $10,000, $15,000, $25,000 range. We also have a microloan program which helps small businesses who are not quite bank ready, but under our microloan program, what we do is we lend money to an intermediary, and they in turn lend it out to small businesses in increments up to $50,000. But it's only with the help of the SBA and our programs that many small businesses have access to the money so that they can start or to grow their business.
They'd never get started if it weren't for the SBA guarantee, because the bank will say no.
Right.
And then we'll go back to a CDC like Seed or Coastal, and with the help of the SBA, then the bank says yes.
Right. And on the counseling side, you gentlemen provide extremely valuable services through SCORE and the Small Business Development Center with that free one-on-one business advisory and mentorship. So
we'll give you a half hour to stop saying nice things like that.
But government contracting, so the federal government buys about $400 billion worth of goods and services.
They spend a lot of our money, don't they?
It's not just bullets.
No.
Technology, it's construction, it's you name it, the government buys it.
They buy everything.
And 23% of those buys are supposed to go to small businesses.
Right.
And so the SBA is the federal agency that works with the other agencies to make sure that they're meeting their small business targets. We have some specialized certification programs to try to even out the playing field so that small businesses can compete and to get those contracts. So depending on what you sell or your service, I would suggest that you talk to your SBA office as far as our certification programs.
Yes.
But even through the SBDC, there's the business, the government sales unit that the SBDC has here in Massachusetts to try to help those small businesses set up their profiles. Selling to the government and getting those government contracts, again, it's not easy, but it can be very powerful, those certifications. And for small businesses that work it, it can be the ticket to some huge contracts and great success.
Absolutely.
I was going to say this, the third C, contracting or selling to the U.S. government. That's great, and so many people do that. But I'll tell you one thing: you better be organized to do that. You say, "Oh, I want to sell something to the government." You better be organized, and you better do yourself a favor and go to the SBA and say, "I want to sell to the U.S. government. What do I do next?"
How do I get certified?
That's what the SBA is there for. Take the first step, do the right thing, and get positioned, get your thinking straight, get organized, and get ready to do that.
Right. We have people that's their core focus.
All they do.
Is helping with small business and government sales and government contracts. The procurement technical assistance centers.
PTAC, That's a great way to PTAC. I don't know how the government does that all the time.
Right.
Procurement Technical Assistance Center.
Right.
They confuse
you know us with an acronym.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So.
Another acronym we can figure
We
out.
mentioned this. We mentioned this slide before, but we can't emphasize enough. There's boots on the ground, so to speak. There's Mass Small Business Development. Coach is MSPDC, and Coach, that's is it 10 years?
15 and a half.
Get out of here.
No, 15 years, 1 month, and 20-something days.
And how many clients?
About 3,200 victims, clients have come to get beat up, to get assistance from me to help them, and I've enjoyed every minute of it, I really do.
And I'm a mentor for SCORE, which is also nationwide, right at your fingertips with local offices or on the website, and to provide help and assistance going forward. And Center for Women and Enterprise also, Bob.
Yeah, women's entrepreneurship growing and expanding rapidly, and so the Center for Women and Enterprise, they serve men also, but they, most of their clients are women entrepreneurs, and it's just we all do the same thing. SCORE, the SBDC, the Women's Center, but a little bit different approaches, different way that the organizations are funded. But I often suggest that small businesses make connections and relationships with all three, especially if they're just thinking about starting off, because they're going to get suggestions from you, Cliff, and then they go to you, Bill. They might get different ideas, and they can build a consensus as far as, are they marching down the right path? But the Center for Women Enterprise offices in Providence, Westboro, Boston, up in New Hampshire, Vermont, a really strong organization. And the Center for Women and Enterprise also is our Veterans Business Outreach Center.
Right.
So that's another specialized organization to try to help the military community and to help vets to start businesses and to access capital.
Over half of the people who come to see me for assistance are women.
Right.
It's a big market of women who want to start businesses. And
the SBA toolbox at 3 C's, capital, money, the lifeblood of small business, of any business, but especially when you're getting started, you don't know where the money's coming from. Capital, access to financing, lender match helps you find lenders, Bob.
Yeah, so Lender Match is relatively new, and what this is it's our online portal which connects small businesses who don't know where to go get money with lenders who are looking for small business customers. So it was originally introduced as Link, but Lender Match was just put out there. So this is Link 2.0 is Lender Match.
Lender Match, right.
The small business, they answer about 20 questions, what's the age of the business, where are they located, what's the money for, how much money are they looking for, you answer those questions. It goes out to lenders who have registered. If the lender is interested, based upon the responses to those questions, and the small business is interested in the lenders that are interested, it trades the information so that they can then have a real discussion and turn it into a real loan.
Right.
And
that's a great service, by the way. It really is.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of people, they don't know where to start as far as, and just go to Lender Match, which is a great branding.
Right.
Lender Match. We're going to match you with a lender.
Right.
Okay. Link didn't really tell me anything.
No. And so this is part of our rebranding of things, and so Lender Match is working, and I think small businesses who don't know where to go use that.
Have I ever mentioned how important branding is on this show?
But only twice, so we gotta beef that up a little
Yeah, I
bit.
guess so. No, actually, it's 2,000 times. Miss some zeros.
Bob, 3 C's, contracting, we mentioned selling to the government. But this slide talks about Massachusetts PTAC. What's that?
Yeah, so that's the PTAC, the Procurement Technical Assistance Center, and so their job is to help small businesses to get contracts.
They got a worse acronym than we do, SBDC,
I
right?
know.
PTAC.
Yeah, so they're part of the Small Business Development
Yeah,
Center
they are.
here in Massachusetts. In other states, they're separate entities.
Yeah.
But again, they're gold on how successful they are in helping small businesses to get contracts, not only federal but state,
Get business.
municipal,
Sales, revenue, right.
Yes.
That's what it's all about.
Right.
Making a profit.
And they have
I
their,
haven't mentioned the importance of cash flow.
only twice.
Twice again, yeah.
We gotta beef that one up too.
I'm going to beef the heck out of it.
By the way, Bob, this shows this looks like a website, so it has its own its own website.
The PTAC does have its own
Yeah.
website, and you can find it, under the MSPDC.
Yes, we have a
Massachusetts
link.
Small Business Development Center.
Yep, we got a link right to PTAC.
And we've also mentioned, import, export. You're in a small business. You've heard of opportunities, or you don't know of anything specific, but you want to take advantage of import, export. Whatever your mentality, your idea is, go to SBA. There's a program apparently, STEP. What's that?
Yeah, so it goes by STEP grants, and so under the STEP grant program, a state applies to the SBA for a grant. So I know that the Massachusetts put in for a grant for this coming year, so we're waiting for SBA to announce the awards. Once those awards are announced, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that Massachusetts will get money again this year.
Right.
Then small businesses who want to expand exporting or to get into exporting could apply for those grants. So,
And they are grants, they are not loans.
It's grants.
That's
and so
grants. It's free. That is free money. Yeah.
they can use the money to attend a trade show, for translation services, for marketing,
Right.
different
Whatever
ways
they
that can help them so that they can expand their exporting.
Yep.
By the way, I see
Good program.
I see a container ship. I wonder, can the SBA find a way to influence the container ship not to run into our Navy ships?
Well, actually, I am teaching at Mass Maritime again.
Okay.
So I'm telling them, number one, stay
Stop hitting
beyond the
those
600-mile zone,
Right.
as Captain Phillips was too close to shore, and stop running into Navy ships. Kind of look at the bow where you're going. you know.
Great advice.
And what about, we haven't even touched on this yet, Bob, is disaster assistance.
A lot of people don't know that the SBA is the disaster loan bank when there are disasters that happen. And
Right.
let's keep our fingers crossed that, we stay lucky. But, when you think of huge disasters like floods, hurricanes,
Orleans,
there are tornadoes. So one of the last big disasters out in Springfield, Massachusetts, with tornadoes. What we do is we provide low interest rate loans to not only to small businesses but to homeowners and renters,
Right.
so that they can recover from those
Right.
disasters.
Thank God.
And so depending on how big a disaster it is, there are different types of declarations. We've had smaller declarations where businesses can get economic injury loans. We've had them for the drought that was happening here.
Farmers, yep.
We had them when we had 4 weeks of record snowstorms.
Yeah.
Let's not think about winter, but
about 4 years ago, yeah.
those types of things absolutely impact businesses and hurts their revenues. So
sales.
we have economic injury loans.
Yep.
So just wanted small businesses to know that if something does happen and there is
SBA
a
is
declaration, SBA is the agency that comes forward and
That
Keeps them in
it
business.
does rely on a declaration, by the state would declare a disaster?
There's different levels of disaster, and when we talk about presidential declarations, which I was
Right.
talking about, as far as when there are large hurricanes and tornadoes, and
Right.
you're talking about a significant amount of businesses and individuals that have been impacted. That's when we can come in and help with physical recovery, in addition to economic injury and working capital.
Right.
Okay. And this is, we've mentioned too, and it's worth mentioning again, the SBA is everywhere. They're not just, in Washington, D.C. SBA is all over the country. And we've said that and said that and said that. You need to understand there's a locality and boots on the ground to help you wherever you are if you reach out. So, Bob, they should stay connected to locally to the SBA and SBA Resource Partners.
Right, so this is the Massachusetts webpage of the SBA. So the national webpage is just sba.gov. For Massachusetts information, it's /MA. When you visit the Massachusetts website, you'll see an event calendar. We try to publish not only the SBA workshops and events that are taking place, but our partners events, SCORE, the SPDC, the Women's Center. So visit that event calendar, but you'll find different hyperlinks where you can get into Massachusetts information that can help you. So one of the things that we publish is our lender list. So we publish the name and the phone number and the SBA contact at all of the different lenders who use our program. And in Massachusetts, we have about 150 different lenders who use SBA, but we also put our lender ranking out there. So,
who the leading bank is, and I won't mention their name.
But if you're going to be looking for money, look for lenders who
loan money
and use SBA, and can help you. So we put those tools out there, and it's helping us to be successful. But lots of other information, Massachusetts specific. But connect with us, and one of the things that will happen when you visit the SBA website, it'll ask whether you want to sign up for email updates. And I would suggest that you sign up for email updates. The gentleman that I have who puts together our newsletters, so we do a monthly newsletter and then we do a monthly education calendar, does a wonderful job.
95 or more % of the education's free.
Yeah.
These are smart people giving you information for free. Avail yourself. Look at that list and go visit some of these things.
There's also walk-in. I mean, you have a district office you have in Boston and Springfield. Physical location also where people can come and visit.
Sure.
Does that require an appointment,
at our Boston location, we're co-housed with SCORE, and so in Boston there are 70 volunteer mentors in the Boston chapter alone, and they will meet with clients. In the Federal Building in Boston, we're right next to TD Garden in North Station. Small businesses can walk in, but it's probably best that they make an appointment to meet with a mentor. The same with the Small Business Development Center. It's you guys, a lot of people want to meet with you and to take advantage of what you do, and it's probably best to make an appointment.
Just go to the website and download the phone number, give the office a call, say I'd like to speak to somebody about starting a business, growing my business, borrowing some money. When could I see somebody? And somebody would be happy to say to you, when would you like and where would you like to go? Well, I live in, let's say, Rockland. Well, we have an advisor, Cliff Robbins, goes to Plymouth. He'll be there Wednesday. Would you like to see him at 10 o'clock? Great, boom, all set. Come on in, we can help you.
Right, with the entire network, because the Small Business Development Center, they have a number of outreach locations.
37 of them around the state, I believe. I have about 8 that I go to.
And the same with SCORE and the Women's Center. And so, what we like to say is, no one's greater than 30 minutes.
Half an hour, right.
Absolutely.
So try to be within a half an hour of any Massachusetts citizen that needs business help.
But one of the things that is really cool with SCORE is there's the ability to have email counseling.
It is very good. He does that.
Because what we try to do is we try to connect small businesses with mentors who have that industry experience and
that domain.
Yeah, and so if we can't find it locally, we're going to connect you. These are national organizations, and so we can connect you with folks across the country who have that skill set that can help
whatever business you're going in, somebody in the country's already done it and retired.
Absolutely.
Bob, what are some of the new initiatives or areas of focus coming down the pipeline that your office is working on and that you're interested in?
So one of the things, the government is on a fiscal year which ends September 30th, and for the past several years, we've been offering fee incentives on our loan programs, and it was just announced that those fee incentives will continue for fiscal year 18. So for small businesses looking for an SBA loan that's $125,000 or less, those will continue to be at no fee. For veterans, up to $350,000 under our Express program, continue to be at no fee. So that's not only for veterans, but it's for National Guard, reservists, and spouses.
Spouses, that's what people don't realize that.
But we're doing a lot of work with networking events and, small businesses connecting them. And so we're working on a big event to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. That's coming up in October.
Yep.
We're working on National Veteran Small Business Week, which is also coming up right around the corner. We do a lot of education for the military community, not only through our Boots to Business program,
Right.
but what we call Boots to Business Reboot. So Boots to Business is for transitioning vets.
Right.
But Boots to Business Reboot are for folks who have that military background. They've been out for a while, but they want to try to start a business.
Right.
And so we pull together experts and a full day of panels and education free of charge
Great
in order
program.
to
I've been to several.
try to support the military community and their spouses so that they can get those businesses off the
I love
ground.
working with those people, the veterans. They're so disciplined and they're dedicated to doing whatever they're doing. Great.
These programs, everything that you're talking about is nationwide. This is the entire
Absolutely,
U.S.
yeah.
Yeah, so all across the country, offices like mine are working on putting together National Veterans Small Business Week events. And so there'll be, a portal on the main SBA website with all the different happenings. And but like I mentioned earlier, to stay connected with us through those email updates. That way, you're going to find out what's happening, when and where, so that you don't miss out. And
Right.
we just did a huge event in Boston called Challenge Her.
Yeah.
We had about 150 different women entrepreneurs who want to get into government contracting. That was an event on our women-owned small business certification and
Program,
that
right.
contracting program.
Right.
It was a half-day event. We had federal buyers there, but other workshops on how to develop a winning proposal. Talking another workshop on our all small mentor protege program. But again,
Great program.
We're
Yeah.
involved with so many different things.
Right.
For a small agency, we have a huge impact, and we are doing some amazing things. So
Stay connected.
So I hope the small businesses who are watching the show, visit your local SBA, connect with us so that we can help small businesses and continue this economic growth that we're going through.
That's great, and that's it for this episode of Fox Robbins Business Show. Thank you again for being with us. This will end up on YouTube, so you can go watch this anytime. There's a part 1 and part 2 with Bob Nelson, SBA. And Bob, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Cliff.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you for being with us. See you next time.